Hello, Luke Buckley, Professor B, back here with another episode. This time we're going to be discussing our introduction to what is user experience. We will use this heavily in our course, as I've been alluding to all along if you've taken the in-person version of this. And we got to define what user experience is. Well, in summary, it encompasses all the aspects of our end user's interaction with, say, a school or a company, its services, and its products. And in more detail, it's got to be a seamless merging of the services of all the disciplines involved, including the engineering, the marketing, the graphics, the industrial design, and the interface design. We're going to roll this together into making us better writers because we're going to consider our users' experience with our products. Okay, make sense? Well, I think so. Let's dive in and take a look at what we might be covering. Right, here we go. As discussed, we're going to take a look at the importance of user experience design and how it applies to our course. We will take a look at several topics: user experience, usability testing, information architecture, user-centered design, and look at a 36,000-foot view of all of these concepts. They all have a discipline devoted to themselves, and you can dive in and learn much, much more than we're ever going to cover in this class because we only have 14 weeks this semester to do it. Well, let's see how we're going to try to use this to help ourselves become better writers. What is user experience? It is the task of looking at a user when they interact with something, so an interface, whether it be a phone app, a car, a book, a plane flight, writing a document, or reading a document, as in our class. And then we look at their experience, testing their interest. Is it observable? Are their faces like scrunched up and angry? Are they happy? How long does it take to do stuff? So keep these concepts in mind as we move forward here. Why do we pick user-centered design? Well, billion-dollar companies are investing a lot of time, effort, and energy into making sure that their products match what their users need on these 4 topics. And this is from a course that Chris Nodder gave called UX Design Overview. The first one is time and cost savings. If you build it right the first time, you're not wasting time, effort, and energy on trying to get the product correct, if that's understandable. As you'll learn when you watch your Netflix episodes, you get to the one on the guy who designs cars. You'll hear that a lot of money is spent. I won't tell you the number. I'll let you discover that for yourselves. Okay, and early user feedback helps us resolve pain points. Pain points are things that cause our users pain. Trying to sign up for classes and not being able to find the classes that match your schedule. That's a pain point. Trying to get your pen to work, right? Do I click it? Do I twist it? If you get frustrated trying to use something, that's a pain point. User-centered design help us get faster delivery. We don't rework our product as often, and there's clearer lines of communication. This fits really well with writing, right? Different kind of write. Homonyms sound the same, spelled differently. If your documents, the more you get in your toolbox, the better writer you become, the less you have to rework your product, and you can get your point across clearer. If you're writing instructions or procedures, or if you're writing a proposal, write one that will get you that $10 million grant. And then in the course of business, it gets your product to market faster because you're designing for your users as opposed to designing a product and hoping they are interested in it. Now, if you look at the bottom, you see 2 cars there. I'm not going to talk about them, but I will tell you the one on the left is an Edsel, and the one on the right is a Corvette. We see Corvettes still today everywhere. We don't see Edsels. If you're interested, go research the story and see what happened. All right, in all that we do, whether you are writing, whether you are building a phone app, whether you're building the next bridge, whether you're designing cars, whatever you are working with in your academic and professional careers going forward, remember always, 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 you are not your users. I can say specifically, I've been a software engineer for 27 years now. I design products that I think will work, and I put it down in front of somebody, and they don't understand how to use it. Okay, I designed it the way I understood the product, not how my users want to use it. We have some metrics within user experience that we can see how well our customers and users interact with. Things like a task success rate. Could they do the thing you asked them to do? Yes, maybe, no. How long did they take to accomplish the task you asked them to do? If we're dealing with web design, you can measure things like number of page views or clicks or taps on an interface if we're talking mobile devices, or how many swipes they use. We get our sources of data from many different places. We can design usability tests, and we'll do that in this course, and we'll use actually usertesting.com. We have a university partnership with them. So we have software, we can do professional usability tests, we can do in-class usability tests. We can do surveys, we can ask pointed questions, and let's use a Likert scale from 1 to 7, how much do you agree or disagree with the question. We can do structured interviews that have guiding questions and open-ended. We can do heuristic evaluations where we evaluate the users on our product based on a given set of qualifications. We can do card sorting, we can do heat maps. There's an example of this to the right-hand side of this slide. Heat map indicates how concentrated usage is in certain parts of a page. And you can see the orangest parts are where people look the most on this page. And we do A/B testing, and we've done that in this course in slide deck/presentation number 23. When we looked at those bookstores and the car dealerships, etc., for a certain set of qualifications. Now here's a list of the most common methods used in user research, and you can see them. You have focus groups and interviews down here in the attitudinal and qualitative type research, and up here in behavioral and quantitative we have clickstream and A/B testing, and then a wide range of variants in between. Well, what does this mean, qualitative, quantitative, attitudinal, behavior? Good question. Quantitative research always gives us numerical data, quantity. You can think of the word quantity of that. Something you can measure, it gives us a hard number. Well, why do we want these? Because we can redirect our resources to help the issue and have the biggest impact. It answers our question, what is happening? Okay? Qualitative research gives us non-numerical data. Qualitative, you can think of quality. You can't really measure numerically something of quality. Okay? We give open-ended survey questions, we interview our customers, we watch them when they use it. What are their facial expressions? What are they saying using a think out loud technique? And this tells us why it's happening. All right, the attitudinal versus behavior. Attitudinal research tells us how something will be perceived, and it focuses on people's beliefs, okay? Their attitudes. Behavioral research aims at determining how people will behave. Okay? Your attitude can drive your behavior as your behavior can drive your attitude, but they are two separate things. And then we always look at context of use. Are they using the product in the way it was designed to be used, or did they take it and use it for something else? You might have my recording buddy here, Ham, but instead of using it as a piggy bank, as you can see the slot on there, I use it as a doorstop to hold the door open. That's not its intended original use, but it is effective in that way. Something we need to be concerned about in the vein of user experience, user-centered design, is our information architecture. The model of our information space. How do we organize what we have, and what rules did we design for that architecture? You can see information architecture exists at the intersection between our business context, our content of our business documents, and our users. Okay? There is a whole discipline designed around information architecture and designing things well in that vein. User-centered design. Wow, here we are to the crux of the matter. We want to design things for our users to be happy and successful with our products. And there is a cyclical or iterative pattern we use, and it's illustrated by this graphic here, much like the scientific method. We have a question or we identify a need. We determine where it's going to be used, we talk about how it will be used, we make some design solutions, we evaluate those designs, and if it worked, we can hop out of our loop. If not, we go back around the circle again, refining it. Where should I put the gas pedal? Should it be on the right or the left? I don't know. Let's put it on the left and see what happens. That didn't work. We've been trained for as long as the automobile's been around to understand it's on the right-hand side. From usability.gov, they have a very nice graphic here of how to design products to be usable. We plan, we analyze, we design, then we test and refine. And all of these pieces here, we may touch on several of them throughout the course of this class. Like I said, there's a lot of depth to some of these things. It is a process. We look at people in their environment using the product we're talking about. We determine what hurts, our pain points, from actionable observations. That's a fancy term. We watch them to see what they're doing. We set goals and we revise our products, whether it be a document or a game or a car, all these different things that can be used. Okay. It's an iterative cycle, getting the newest, latest, greatest cell phone apps. We go through this process, gathering our user data, determining pain points. We create personas, which are ideal people that would use our product that we can design for. They're imaginary. We ideate. We come up with ideas about how we would make the product. We design scenarios, and then we start building, and then we test after this phase. And we go around and around until we've got it right. Putting it all together. Okay, we've got user-centered design. We are considering our users. In our case for this course, we are interested in HCD, human-centered design, because we are not designing for dogs, dolphins, or bunnies. Within that, further divided, we have the user's experience. And within user experience, we need to be concerned with information architecture, information design, interaction design, and interface design. And the best way I can think of to describe this sequence down here is, imagine you go to a gigantic conference, okay? And you have just had a 64-ounce big gulp of your favorite soft drink. One of the most interesting things to you is going to be, where are the bathrooms? Okay, so our information architecture would say at the stadium that we need to have a healthy set of bathrooms. If we can handle 30,000 people, how many people should we be able to use the facilities at the same time? Our information design would be, where do we put them? Okay? Our interaction design would be the signs on the door that says, boys, girls, families, intergender, whatever have you. And then interface design would be the design, how do we actually use the toilet once we get in there? Well, you say, well, how different could that be? It could be very different. Here is the interface to a Japanese toilet. Their standard toilet. You get there and all of these different buttons and lights will be facing you. So it's not as straightforward and easy as you seem sometimes. But a lot of product design and research has gone into this. You are not generally a world citizen if you haven't traveled and seen all these things. User experience differs from country to country, from culture to culture, and even from region to region within our own country. So we need to be aware of these things, and we'll talk about this as the semester goes on. And finally, why is it important? Well, if we don't pay attention to building our products toward our users, we can lose revenue. In this case, this is a chart looking at why people abandon their shopping carts during checkout. Okay? It might be because the costs are too high. We don't want to pay those shipping and fees, right? We might determine that it took us too long to check out. 28% said, I'm not doing this. Delivery was too slow. I don't trust this site. All sorts of reasons. All of these reasons here cause the company to lose money. The company loses money. We could lose our job. So we need to be cognizant of these facts. Okay, so this has been a brief overview of user experience, user-centered design. We will dive deeper into all of these topics in the next episodes, but hopefully you've enjoyed this and started to think about things that you interact with yourself and the world around you. So this is Professor B ending this slide deck, and let's wait for my final comments. Well, that's a fascinating insight into very complicated, complex topic. There are many people who are user experience designers, and they make quite a bit of money, so that could be on the back of your mind. But we learned several things. We learned about user experience, interaction design, interface design, information architectures, and how these things all fit together. So check out usability.gov. Take a look at several of these concepts. We have many episodes ahead of us that will unpack a lot of these things. So hopefully you'll stay tuned, stay engaged, and consider your readers. What is their experience with what you wrote? In this course, it's me. When you're in the rest of the world, it's your desired or targeted audience. So Professor B out. Stay tuned for more fun.